Yes, sir. Dieter and Hutch, live and alive here on a Monday.
That's right.
Talking 49ers. They got cut down day tomorrow. The Niners will certainly send out their list of who was cut last. That
They
is
always do. They
it's a
always do.
time-honored tradition where you have to scrounge and text agents and hope that other reporting is accurate because you can't back it up, and then they'll send it at roughly 7 p.m. just because. Just because. I love it. Can't get enough of it. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow for certain, whether it's both of us or just one of us. Comments will be had on tomorrow's cut downs. I figure we just get right into a predictive mode here, Jake, because we've already seen some cuts. We've seen some guys come back
Yeah.
for practice. And it's just like legitimately really challenging. And at least my thought exercise on it, and we'll get into the collective one here, is a very weird looking roster. Like there's no other way to phrase it. This is not how you should build an NFL team. Luckily, it's me. We'll see what the Niners do tomorrow. We'll see what Jake's thoughts are on it. Before we get into it, Michael Williams, C.J. West, Richie Grant, Fabian Moreau, who's apparently a San Francisco 49er, Mac Jones, and Ben Barch all back at practice today. Still not at practice, Juwan Jennings. You want to talk about Juwan Jennings, Jake?
I guess we talked about Juwan Jennings last time, but it's getting strange. It's getting a little strange, which I think is to be expected,
Yeah.
right?
Strange times.
His contract is reliant on bonuses and incentives, which like he needs the incentive, so he needs to play, but also he kind of needs to. I don't know because the 49ers
Can
might
he
just
risk
say
it?
like,
Yeah.
we don't care. Like if you're not at practice, then we can't count on you immediately, and we need you immediately. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that the 49ers will budge, and I kind of don't think they should.
I don't blame the 49ers for not giving in, right? Again, as we've said a million times before, if you wanted to give Juwan Jennings a new contract, nothing has changed between now and April, save for Jennings' availability is less, right? Like if you wanted to give him a new deal, you would have done it in April. He just signed a contract a year ago. They're not terribly incentivized from a business standpoint or really a football standpoint to reward him for a season where he did his job. Like, did he do anything beyond the pale? He just had a bigger role and he filled it. Didn't exceed perhaps expectations, but he
Right.
filled a role that probably shouldn't have been his for the full season. At least it wasn't expected to be his for the full season. So, and again, it's on him and Drew Rosenhaus too. Like, if you wanted the new contract, don't bring it up in July. Like, take care of it in April when everyone else is getting money, because the Niners wanted to close up shop, and now this calf injury adds complications. Tim Kawakami, SF Standard, suggested, you can read into this as much as you want. He suggested, and Tim Kawakami's suggestions sometimes turn out to be true. Suggestions and truth. Where am I going there? Nowhere else. I'm leaving that where
Tim's
it is.
very tapped in. He's very clever about the way he distributes information.
Correct. And the suggestion was that the 49ers could sort of have a rehash of last year with Brandon Ayuk. Let's not forget Brandon Ayuk. They were going to put him on the restricted list. They were going to ban him for the season. This is a penalty box ban. This is 4 games IR. Hey, you can't practice. You're injured. Guess we got to put you on IR. That really stinks for you. And all those incentives are going to be really hard to get. I wouldn't be shocked at all if that's the way they go.
Yeah, I think from their perspective, he's it's sort of like, again, to be competitive, you sort of do need him, but at the same time, you know, to me, it's like if I'm them, I say, all right, we'll give you another incentive, right?
Okay.
We'll add a little bit more to the deal, but we're not doing anything else. Like you have to play, and we know you have to play in order to actually hit those incentives that are already in your contract. So you get back to practice within this week, and that way we can rely on you for week 1 or we're going to play hardball and we don't really care. If you're not ready, we're just going to lean on Demarcus Robinson by week 4 and we'll figure the rest of it
Right.
out.
And listen, none of this. Maybe Juwan Jennings' entire play was thinking that Ricky Pearsall was trash. Like maybe that was his entire play, because legitimately, if Pearsall hasn't broken out, this is a much more untenable situation for the Niners going forward amid an already untenable situation. Like this is not a good scenario they're heading into in week 1, 2, and 3. I mean, they need Russ Gage to be healthy. That's not a good sentence to say as you head into a division game.
No, it's like I'm looking at the receivers situation and I'm just trying to figure out like this whole roster, because you get basically on cutdown day, you now get 2 players where you can say this guy goes on IR and we can bring him back. It used to be you have to like cut some guy and then late, and you
Right.
still kind of have to do that to an extent because
Right.
teams are going to use those 2 guys and then they're going to say, all right, well, we're going to try and manipulate the roster anyway. So you've got for week 1, you have Ricky Pearsall. That's it. That's it. You have Ricky Pearsall 1, Sky Moore 2 ish, and Robbie Chosen.
Yes.
And then Russell Gage, you don't know if he's going to be healthy for week 1. Demarcus Robinson's not available for week 1. Juwan Jennings, you don't know what that situation is. Jacob Cowing's definitely not available for week 1. Jordan Watkins, high ankle sprain.
Not available. There's no expectation that Watkins is going to be available.
Is Jordan Junior Bergen? I guess we just start with wide receiver. Like, what do you think that cut down looks like? Because I actually have no clue.
I think it's 4. And I think he named him Pearsall, Gage, Russell Gage, holding this whole thing together. Sky Moore and Robbie Chosen. I think they keep 4 receivers. That is the worst wide receiver room in the NFL. Or I guess
you keep Jennings, right? Because you think they put him on the restricted list if he.
No, I don't think they restricted list him, because then he'd be out for the entire year. Like that's the nuclear option. And there's no
the
reason.
IR thing is an option, but you have 3 wide receivers who you want to use one of those slots on conceivably.
Well, no, because Ayuk has never been healthy.
Well, he's on the PUP, so that counts separately.
Yeah, that's
so
what
you
I'm
can
saying.
Just bring him back at any point after week 4.
Right. So I don't think they have any interest in bringing Cowing back. I see no reason to put him as a designated to return. If you want to bring him back this season, you can.
I think you try it on the practice squad. I think you cut him and you try it on the practice squad and say, we'll see if we can get him back. You keep Pearsall, you keep Jennings, you keep Moore, Gage, and Chosen, and then you short-term IR Jordan Watkins, I think.
That's probably the play. You probably do that. So now you're, by the way, down 1. Yeah.
And then Robinson comes back. You get a roster exemption for him for. I don't know if you get a roster exemption,
but you cut Robbie Chosen by then. I mean, that's
correct.
That won't be of concern. Correct. By the way, just doing this exercise myself, I said it came out weird. If I were to just make the team that I would build out of the pieces that are here, I would have 23 offensive players and 27 defensive players on top of 3 full-time special teamers. Like, that's not good. That's not good. And I would I want to go to running back, because we know it's Purdy and Jones as the 2 quarterbacks. Okay, like that's locked in. They literally went through that process today, waiving everybody else.
Right.
Not that Tanner Mordecai was making this team, though he probably does have a great rate at the Marriott, staying there so often. Running back's a weird one now, because they add Brian Robinson. Okay, he's your clear number 2. If you had any questions about how the 49ers felt about Isaac Guerrero, they were answered in the 3rd preseason game. Go out there and die. That's what they said to him. And he kind of obliged. He absolutely tanked any value he might have had to this team. It was a brutal performance. He can't run inside zone. He can't run gap stuff. Get him to the edge. He's a hell of a football player. Problem is the Niners don't run that play very often anymore, because, you have to adapt. You have to change your offense. Isaac Guerrero, this is why you go and get Brian Robinson. I don't think very highly of Brian Robinson. I think that he is I think you're a little lower on
Brian Robinson than most, but
Well, certainly than most, because most people aren't actually watching Brian Robinson run a football. Like most people aren't. Most people aren't. They just look at the numbers. They look at and they go, "Oh man, this guy's awesome." He was in a backfield with Jaden Daniels, who was arguably the best rusher in the NFL last year, and he couldn't get anything more than the offense blocked for him, and he's never been able to do that. Like, let me. It can't. You can't have two truths here. The Washington Commanders, a team that went to the NFC Championship game last year. Explanation still not fully understood. But a team that went to the NFC Championship game last year, a team that's like, hey, what about Chris Rodriguez? Hey, we have a 7th round rookie. They said, we are so eager to get rid of Brian Robinson that we will take almost anything in trades and we'll eat salary. So is he really good, or are the Commanders the dumbest team in the NFL? Like, I don't understand how the Commanders can be so eager to give this guy away, and yet he can be such an asset to the team that's bringing him on.
Right.
Those two things are totally incongruent. It's not to say that he's a bad football player. It's just to say that he is an average football player that's getting hyped up because he's new, and he's not new. We've seen him play football.
Yeah, I do think people take offense to the term average. Uh, like we have to remember, like an average NFL football player is like pretty good, right? Like
Correct. They stay in the league for like 7 years.
Right, that's like a capable football player, but average has the connotation of saying, "Oh, he's just average," and it feels like a slight, when in reality, like, he's an average football player. Like, he's solid, he's gonna have a decent long career, and he's gonna
Yeah.
contribute. He's just not like a plus player. I think that's a reasonable assessment. I think he can be a little bit better than how you're describing, but I don't think he's an elite back by any stretch, but in this offense, he just follows the blockers and does what's asked of him. He's going to be a helpful contributor for very cheap.
I don't disagree on the helpful contributor, but it's just like you can't run the ball with Jaden Daniels running read option for you, taking half of the defense, if not more, in his direction, and you can't find anything more. Like what how am I to believe that? And I saw Ted Wynn, who I have the utmost respect for. He does absolutely fantastic work, and he's a big Brian Robinson guy, right? And so I have to take that
Love Ted.
information.
He bought me a drink.
That's all you need. By the way, I mean, how do you feel about our subscribers and members in that case? But Ted's like, oh, he's going to be great as like in an under center offense. Well, let me know when he gets to an under center offense, because the Niners don't run under center as much as they used to. Now, certainly it's not going to be to the extreme of the Commanders, where they're always in shotgun and they run almost a true spread. But the 49ers are going to a lot of 12 personnel, 11 personnel, though I don't think they actually have the personnel to play 11 personnel as it stands. In theory, they're supposed to be a shotgun team so that Purdy has more time to scan the field and make good decisions with the football. He is an outside zone back, Robinson, who is tough as nails. Again, and you're right. People take offense to the word average. That means that half of the guys are worse than you, right? I just think that he is a really solid running back too. He's not the best, and if he was your starter, he'd probably be one of the worst starting running backs in the NFL. Mind you, there are most teams, and this team, I think, are going to carry 3 or 4 running backs. So he's on the upper half. Maybe he's a little better than average if we're taking in the full spectrum. But of guys who are expected to touch the ball this year, he's a pretty average player. That said, an upgrade over Isaac Guerendo, given what Isaac Guerendo's given this football team. All that potential in the world has just not manifested. And I don't know if it ever will. I have no idea what Isaac Guerendo is for this football team. We're 2 years in. I don't think I have any questions about this guy answered so far. It's kind of brutal.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I saw glimpses at the end of last year, like where he looked really good, and it's just like he keeps getting hurt, and then I don't know. It's a little bit like it's not like Moody, because Moody is a totally different situation where he might just need to go elsewhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
Listen, he didn't have, and he wasn't a college running back. Full stop. Right? He was kind of a gadget player.
And he really was like going to be a project from the start. And so with him, there is something to just the fact that he's been hurt in both camps, and you're like, how is he supposed to figure it out without playing? And he's not really on a team that's has the runway to let him just like suck a little
Right.
bit and figure it out. And
Totally.
running back's tough because you can't really suck for very long, or you're
No,
just not going to
you'll
play ever.
die. Yeah,
Um,
exactly. He had 3 fumbles last Thursday, and it was like, oh, they immediately went out and traded for Brian Robinson, and then he goes out there and was subjected to
and it's
death
like the
by
game's just
100
too fast
Chargers.
for him. He just doesn't see it.
He and listen, when he get again, he's a good outside zone runner. You get him to the edge and you give him space in front, he can do some stuff. But the Niners are not also this sort of offense that are going to figure out ways to put the ball in his hands
It's
because they
also
don't
like
trust that he's going to hold on to it.
the Niners are still like when you ask what the Kyle Shanahan offense is, it used to just be like wide zone and play action off of it. That was what it used to be. They went greatly away from play action. They returned to it a little bit late last year, as I recall, and they started being like, "All right, we actually need this back in our offense."
Yeah.
They aren't as much of a wide zone team. They still use wide zone plenty, but like that's not really their identity. They have a lot of different runs that they use. They mix in gap scheme, inside zone. There's a lot of variety to their run game. That's not just you need a Raheem Mostert who can run outside.
And the wham block is going to be like the defining play of the 2025 season, where you have that tight end coming across the line of scrimmage to seal off the weak side. Um, that's 12
Right.
personnel and wham blocks. That's
So
not outside zone.
so answer the question, how many running backs are you keeping on this roster?
I think they're keeping Garendo for what it's worth. If
Agreed.
nothing else, he should be a kick returner for this team in theory. I would keep 5 now and 6 if you're including Kyle Juszczyk, because I do think Jordan James will be on the roster. Because he's not, it's not worth dicking around with an IR return on Jordan James. I think you keep Jeff Wilson. I think you'd be foolish. Now he was on the street.
Yeah, it's a question of like, do you just put him on the practice squad and bump him up, and then eventually, once you have a running back injury, or you put like Jordan James on IR, and you, I think you keep. That's I think what they do. I think what they do is they don't use one of those two spots on Jordan James. I think they say we like Jeff Wilson Jr. We keep him on the practice squad. We sort of see if we can get away with that.
Right. I think that they'd cut Jeff
Even
and
though I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is a much better running back than like even at this stage of his career than being a guy who just. By the way, Wilson, I know we're not really doing comments yet, but Wilson does not go to waivers. He's a veteran. So
right.
you don't have to worry about that. You can cut him and
No,
bring it back immediately.
waivers are only for guys who are on rookie contracts. So, and yeah, James, there were really nice early returns on James from what I heard. People really liked him.
Yep.
I don't think we have enough of a sample size to say one way or another. I just can't imagine they'd shelf him for the entire year.
No, I think they want him. I think they want him.
Yeah,
He was a veteran college running back too. It's not like a guy who's like a project who you want to
true.
just stash. You want utility out of him in the short term. So I'm thinking you for the first group before we, just the first QB backfield tight
Yep.
end. We'll get to tight end in a sec, but like I think you keep Brock and Mack.
Hmm.
That's it. And then in the backfield you keep Juice, McCaffrey, Robinson, Garendo, and James. And then
Yeah.
you put Wilson on practice squad, and you probably bump him up for the first few
Yeah.
weeks of the season, and maybe you put James on IR where you can bring him back. Although you still only get like 7 of those slots, and I don't know if you want to spend one there.
Yeah. That's a good thought, though. Keeping him on the 53, carrying him in, and then IRing him for designation. A little less painful
Yeah,
for using up one of those spots. But
I, and
again, it's a broken
yeah,
finger, I believe. Like that, especially if he's not going to play, right? He's going to be
right.
down for a couple weeks because you do have Wilson. I wouldn't worry too
I'm
much
with you.
about it.
And then at tight end, I think it's just the two guys. I think it's Kittle and
Oh,
Farrell.
I disagree.
You think they
I
keep Tonjes?
I think they keep Tonjes. I don't know if they have to. To be fair, I'm sure that they could practice squad Tonjes. I don't think there's a line of people saying, "Man, get me that Jake Tonjes on my team." But I think Tonjes was actually really solid
I
in
agree.
camp and in preseason, and his ability to play fullback is sneaky good. We saw it again on Saturday. Like I would not underestimate that, especially with Juice battling some injuries already. Right, he did it last year. He's doing it this year. Like having that clear cut option to back up at fullback so that you don't have to completely shift your personnel profile because you're missing one player.
Right.
I think that's worth the trouble of keeping him on the 53. Plus, he's a good special teams player.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think you keep him. I like the fact that he can play fullback for you and does play special teams when that's like a thing that you're actually prioritizing this season. I think it
Theoretically.
matters.
Now, do you think
Plus,
they will? Do you think they will keep him?
my gut was no, but he goes to waivers and they kept him last year, so I'm putting him on for the moment.
Okay.
For the moment, I'm putting him on while I
Jeff
continue to do math on the rest of the roster.
Jeff Wilson's out. Jake Tonjes in. Offensive line. I actually broke it down. Most people just kind of go offensive line is this big vague thing. I think it's probably a better exercise for our mental health to view it by position. And tackle, you have Trent Williams. You might have heard of him. Colton McKivitz, and I think Burford makes it as the third tackle.
No, it's not even a question.
Okay,
Burford makes it.
I mean, I think Pleasance is done. He was awful in the final 2 preseason games. Just full stop. Just awful. I feel bad, but he was awful. I got to wear that one.
I suppose the question then becomes, what do you do at right tackle if you have an injury?
You play Burford. You play Burford there. You play Zach. I don't know. You call me down from the press box and sacrifice me to the football gods. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if they swing a trade. I wouldn't be shocked if they picked up some scrub off the street who hit the street this week. Wouldn't be shocked by anything. But I don't think they're carrying 4 tackles because they can barely carry 3 with what they currently have.
Yeah, I mean,
do you think they try to carry 4?
I think they have been very clear that Burford hasn't even tried to play right tackle.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think that's the problem they run into, where if they don't, like, I just don't know if they're going to be like okay with playing Burford at right. I think they might keep Pleasance and then, or look for a trade beforehand and cut him. I mean, he's not looked good. He looks stiff and like he can't get his feet under him. He's getting spun around.
Oh, it's been brutal. He can't run block, and it's like we knew you were going to be a shitty pass blocker.
But they also,
but they also
played him in some games, and I don't know. I think they might stubbornly keep him and just say like, we need a right tackle that we have some familiarity with. If they can't swing a trade, given that tackle's such a nightmare situation to try and acquire.
Can I throw something your way? This is a bit of a galaxy brain thing. Feel free to shoot it down immediately.
Yep.
Do you think you could trade Garendo for a guy who might get cut as a tackle because of the positional value of a tackle and you wanting to skip ahead in the line?
I do think that's an option. I don't know that they would do that, but I think they'd strongly consider it. I think if they go, hey, we don't really actually expect anything from Garendo at this point, unless they're like counting on him for kick returns, which have they been doing that?
I haven't seen it. They feel so out, and he's the up man on punts, if I'm recalling correctly. He did a nice job.
Play him at wide receiver.
I don't think he's a particularly good wide receiver.
No, I don't think he is either, but
can you play him as the X clear out man? Like, how many snaps does it take before the safety realizes they don't have to respect him?
Here's how they can use him. They can use him like in Arena Football League, where you get a running head start.
Canadian too, yeah.
Yes, that's how you get to use him.
Yeah.
For him only. He's the only exemption in the NFL. He's allowed to do that. No one else. And then
forget
he's great.
Sheet motion. We're just going to do full Canadian football motion. I dare you to call it every play. Meanwhile, they just keep going back 5 yards.
Yeah.
Can we do guards?
Yeah. And just to close the loop on tackle, I do think logically you should cut Pleasance.
Yes.
I think you should save that roster spot, but I don't know if they will. I just like, they don't have an option at right tackle outside of him at all.
I would note that you're right. They did play Pleasance last year just in a pinch. Am I recalling that correct? They had a lot of different dudes.
Right. I mean, if Pooney is healthy, then you could say, all right, we can bump Pooney to right tackle.
They don't want to do that.
Exactly. So,
but like the idea that they can't just find somebody on Tuesday that they can use as an emergency right tackle, like feels a little bit foreign to me, seeing as they signed offensive linemen and played them later on in the season, meaning like that week. Like late in the season, they're just like signed a dude and started him at tackle. And
yeah, but that season was gone. It didn't matter.
Who said that this season was on, Jake? No, you're right. You're right. But Austin,
the facade has to stay up for a few weeks.
I think that we all know that we're in one of those Wild West themed movie
Yeah.
sets if Austin Pleasance is still on the
Yeah.
roster. At
Guard.
guard, Barch, Pooney. By all accounts, Pooney's going to try, so there's no issues about IR or anything like that. If he can't
Yep.
play, he's down for a game or two. So be it. Colby, and I can't believe it, but I think Sakelj makes this team still.
I do too because they have an obsession with him. They have a fixation. They have a fetish for Nick Zakelj.
Hey now,
And I've
hey now.
said it since the start. Every year I put him on the cut list, and every year he makes it, and I go, I don't get it. I think Matt Hennessy looked pretty poor at center. I have not been. You
Pretty
like Matt
poor.
Hennessy?
No, 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 I don't. He gave me visceral anger, Jake.
Okay.
Jake. I can't. I really do try to maintain just a semblance of decorum in a press box, right? Just I'm loud and full of shit and got to comment on everything, but I'm really trying. I promise you, I'm trying to hold it in. I yelled at Matt Hennessy 4 times during that preseason game. I was like hands on my knees, head down, just like, God damn it. Like when your toddler does something to just, God damn it. Watching him play, I was sold such a false bill of goods on that guy.
Yeah.
And I never really
He's
bought in or anything. He's awful.
yeah. Yeah. So
So
that's where I'm
yeah,
at.
keep
That's where I'm
Sakelj.
at.
I don't care.
Zakelj is their backup center, and they want to eventually, I think, train Moss at right guard. I think Moss still makes it.
You think Moss makes the 53-man roster?
I think they need another guy. I think they need another guy on the O line. I mean,
I don't
I
think
still think he does. I still think he does. I mean,
wow.
maybe
Okay.
not. But I think after the Kingston thing last year, they want to say, I don't know, and maybe
I don't
that's a
think there's
rose
much
tinted view.
clamoring.
It's
Yeah,
a rose tinted view for Drew
I don't
Moss,
think
maybe.
either the by the way, I thought the Nuge was better than Moss on the whole this camp. Because the guard stuff. The Nuge had some okay snaps at center, second half against the Raiders. Kind of the 1 and 3. But his guard snaps were like shockingly impressive,
Yeah,
and
I
yet
mean,
he's going practice squad.
if it was me, I would go 10 or I would go 9. I would go Williams, Barch, Brendel, Pooney, McKivitz, and then I go Burford, Colby, Moss, Nugent. And then I would pick up a right tackle from somewhere and just train Moss and Nugent at center, see who wins, and train all those interior guys at every position and say goodbye to Zakelj. I think they keep 10, and I don't know that Nugent is one of them.
I have them down for 8 here with a plus, like meaning like you're
10
gonna
does
bring
seem
8.
high. I don't
They don't. Yeah, I mean, but I get it. Like at a certain point, you don't have enough, so you might as well keep all of them and see what you can do in the next 2 weeks. Then you can cut
I don't
people.
feel
Like
good about it. I don't feel good about the situation, and every year they confuse me a little bit
yep.
with the
Oh
way
yeah,
they view their players. You're like, "I thought you hated this guy." They're like, "We do. We just needed him, and he's actually really good, even though every clip you see of him is
yeah.
terrible." So,
No, no, no. You're not seeing what we see, and it's like, what are you seeing? And it's like, well, nothing, nothing else. We couldn't justify cutting him. Um, there's a lot of that. Defense, we're in somewhat of a similar situation where
yeah,
it's like, wow, you're just keeping a lot of dudes, and like half of them you don't feel great about. Um,
correct.
let's start with defensive end. I think they keep 5: Bosa, Huff, Michael Williams, Sam Aquanu, and Gibson. I think they keep Gibson.
That I was literally just going to say my dark horse to make the roster is Gibson. He's been sneaky good
Mhm.
in the preseason. If I recall correctly, I think he's a vet, right?
Yes,
Is
yeah, former Seattle Seahawk.
so maybe you just do the thing where you bring him back and you practice squad him, and he's a veteran there for you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's a
think they
thought.
might go that route. Yeah.
I don't love how many guys were like, what if you just put him on the practice squad and called him up? It's like, why don't you just keep him on the roster then? Like the fact that you have a bunch of guys who are clearly practice squad players, like you have 5 of them, it seems like, that are practice squad players that you're like, you can call them up. It's like, not really.
Do
You can
you
only
do you have
call
them
up 2.
keeping 6 defensive tackles? Because I
Um,
kind of do.
I have them keeping, and I'm not kidding, 7. I have them keeping like all of them. Collins, Elliott, Givens, Davis, West, Valdez, and Meatball. That's
I
sad.
think I think they might trade if you wanna talk about another player for a trade,
Yeah.
Elliott.
I think that they were trying to showcase him in such a manner against the Chargers because what the hell was he doing out there? And he played well. Played well against the Chargers backups. I guess he's kind of a backup, so it all kind of lined up. But he was
I
out there a
think
lot.
I think Givens, because normally you just say cut if you look at the guaranteed money, these are how a lot of these roster decisions are made.
Mm,
Givens got like 2,000,000 like fully guaranteed.
yeah.
So they're gonna keep him in some form or fashion, I believe. He's been productive for them. I don't know when he's coming back. He's one of my guys that of the 2 that you get, I think they do the short-term IR for
Okay.
him to clear a roster spot that way. So I have them keeping those guys, but Givens is an IR guy.
Okay. Okay. So that makes it 6 if we're keeping Valdez, which I
Right.
think is the correct thing to do at this point. Um,
Yeah.
good job for Sebastian Valdez picking the team where he had the best chance to make
I
it.
I don't think you have a choice. I think you just have to keep the best available player regardless of, like, what the weird depth is, and even if he's the 8th guy on the depth chart.
Yeah,
Like,
so be it. Anderson, I mean, he's playing second half preseason game number 3. He could start week 1. He could get cut on Tuesday. I have
yeah,
no idea what he is
I think
still.
they keep him.
Okay, okay. That's 6 if Givens goes IR designated to return.
Yep.
Okay, linebacker. I wonder what we'll be talking about at the end of this segment. Warner, Winters, Gifford, Bethune, and our good friend Nicholas Martin.
That's how I have it. I don't really see I mean, they might do something weird and keep they always piss me off at linebacker too. I swear to God, every year you're like, "What? This guy," or like Curtis Robinson might make it. By the
Curtis
way,
Robinson is like a classic practice squad call up. Like, is he
yeah,
not?
he is their NFLPA rep, which has anyone asked about that lately? Going super well. Don't look up who they just made uh their interim president of the NFLPA. You're doing great. Thomas Morstead is also a VP on the board, so maybe somebody talk to him about that. Not
Uh,
going well over at the NFLPA. Moving on.
I might. I might. Okay, Martin. A lot of people have been asking for me in particular to quote apologize for saying that Nick Martin uh, is a questionable prospect. Let's just lay it on this. We'll do probably a members only video on this.
Yep.
Jake does a better breakdown than I could, but we both watched the film, and let's just say the nice thing right off the top. He was much better in this game. He was better in the Vegas game before that. He improved, at least on his external play throughout training camp. You love to see it. Great
He
job by
improved.
Nick Martin.
He improved every single game. No
Yep.
question about it. Definitely looked more comfortable. I think they put him in an advantageous situation by putting him in the second half against the weakest competition he faced in the preseason. That's not
Whew.
saying what he
Not
did
even
isn't.
debatable.
Yeah, that's not saying that his performance was poor. He played well and he played better than what he did, but it like the running back he kept destroying, Raheem Sanders, I think, is like a snowplow on wheels.
Yeah, he a thick boy.
He's a large dude.
I
So
love him.
I'm just saying there were a couple guys that got Nick Martin in space in the first 2 games. Those that were a little scattier, and
Mhm.
this was not one of those guys.
No.
Again, he played well. He
Yep.
has improved. There are signs, especially for me. I think some of the most encouraging stuff was punt coverage
Yeah.
and kickoff coverage. Sorry, kick returns and punt returns.
You didn't like the kick coverage though.
Yes, yes, yes. Kick
Yeah.
coverage and punt coverage, I didn't love, but kickoff returns and punt returns when he's
Yeah.
attacking looked better.
Mhm.
But he is like almost a liability on the other side, which
Yeah.
maybe that just takes time. But again,
No.
like
No,
again,
it doesn't,
I
Jake. It's
literally
the same concern we've had. If you allow him to run, he's flipping awesome because he's super fast and he's a mean SOB out there. And if no one touches him, he's absolutely awesome.
real quick.
Yeah.
I have to address this. No, he does not look better
No.
side to side. He looks better when there's a clear path either to the absolute boundary or he's attacking a gap. When there's anything in between and it's a little muddy and a running back's taking like a slower route and waiting for blockers, he tends to stop his feet and looks like he's processing the game. That's where there's still concerns. And second level, there's still concerns. So people like to make it a 1 or a 0, right? They like to say he's the truth, he's terrible. He's not either one of those things. He's showing insane glimpses of like high level
serious
ceiling.
Serious pop.
Massive ceiling. When it hits, he's going to be outstanding. But there's a lot of stuff to clean up, and it's going to take time. And that's, again, I'm impressed with what I saw with the growth, but there are a lot of things he still needs to clean up.
He's not playable in an NFL game. I mean, this is a guy who clearly needed the game to slow down for him, which, by the way, doesn't make him special. It makes him a rookie. And especially one coming off of an injury that kept him out for an entire year. Of course, he needs the game to slow down for him. You know what game was really slow? The second half of preseason game number 3. That game took almost 4 hours the other day. That thing was a slog, and everyone playing in it, save for some of the rookies, are not playing in the NFL this year. So, yes, it did. He popped. He popped in a very serious way. It's good that the Niners, as you noted, put him in a situation where he can get some big wins. And he took advantage of that situation. He also got blocked off the face of the earth just as many times as he made pop plays against guys who, again, aren't going to have jobs. They might have already lost their jobs. They were out there strictly for the Saskatchewan Roughriders scout that was in the press box with us.
And on scheduled special teams, there was also like a return where Sky Moore, it was unclear if he was going to beat the last man, but if he beat him, he was going to go for a house call or at least have a chance to.
It was a good return
if Martin had made his block.
Yeah.
So again, he's got to be a special teamer to have utility, and there's some questions there. But again, the pop is huge. I've been more and more impressed each game. I'm not saying that the upside isn't there. We never said the upside isn't there. No, the upside has been abundantly clear.
Totally. But the downside is he's not just somebody who can't do it. He's somebody that you have functional questions if he ever can do what he needs to do. You say when he gets there. I say if he gets there, because what are his issues? Anytime there's congestion, anytime that someone gets their hands on him, he disappears. Well, he's smaller by the standards of an NFL linebacker, and he's someone who didn't show a tremendous amount of vision at any point in his football career. So it's great that he has this prodigious speed. As Kyle Shanahan said, we love guys who can run and hit, right? That's the foundation of playing football. But there's a lot more to it at the NFL level. And if he's, we'll see. Maybe getting into an environment where he was the best player on the field, which you could argue he was for stretches, or at least he had the highest ceiling of any player on the field.
Oh, no question. Again, when it's clear and when he gets that runway, it's immaculate.
And it should be that way. Like, let's leave the third round stuff out of it. Like, you would hope that if you're an NFL caliber player, that when you have nobody in your way, you can see it, you hit it, and you attack. Because, like, if you had the same situations as Martin did, and he took full advantage, and they were awesome, there's no notes on his pop plays. That fumble was excellent. The 2 open field tackles were excellent. Really, really good stuff.
He did on the kickoff return tackle quite literally with his head.
Yeah. He's going to do it, right? Like, that's
right.
Run and hit. But if you were out there and you didn't do that, you would say, "Oh, this guy can't play in the league."
He's got 2 prerequisites. He does not care about his well-being,
which is
crucial at the linebacker position.
100%.
And he's physical as hell, and he's fast. Like, these are great prerequisites for the position. I think he's a little
just because he's physical doesn't mean that he has the requisite physicality, and he'll have ample chance to prove it because they'll be putting him on special teams, and he's getting way too much attention because me and Larry have some bet that I don't even know what the terms of it are. He's getting way too much attention about it. Suffice it to say, highlights don't tell the full story, and nor do the lowlights. It's a nuanced situation, and as it stands today, he didn't prove because those highlights are showing up. Sorry, I almost knocked over my pop. I'm so heated. But like, the idea that he's ready to start at weak side linebacker is ludicrous and frankly disadvantageous to him turning into what he needs to turn into. He needs more time. So that's Nick Martin.
Dieter, but you are talking about
that's not going to be monetized.
You are talking about a future U.S. Marine. Sorry, I believe the meme is the future member of the U.S. Army.
There you go. I mean, it is. We're talking about future Pro Bowler Nick Martin. I mean, at least the expectations have been kept in
Sorry, a
check.
future U.S. Army soldier.
Jesus Christ, get the memes right, buddy. You're the young one.
Sorry.
Cornerback. Your cornerback is just the
I
ultimate
don't know
roller
what
coaster.
to do here, man.
Here we go. Four. I have four. I guess six if we're going to include Nichols. It's Lenore and Green. Awesome. Like totally effing awesome. Then it's Saran Neal and Dallas Flowers. My God,
Fabian Moreau, perhaps?
the train is off the tracks. I mean, is there a steeper fall off? Jesus Christ.
I don't even. I guess Flowers makes it. He didn't look
I
great
don't
last
know.
game.
I have no flipping idea because I don't think you can keep Luter. Luter was out there
I don't
just
think you can
trying to
either.
knock himself off the team.
I have it as Lenore, Green, Neal, and Moreau.
By the way, Neal isn't a good corner. He's only
No.
there because Brant Boyer thinks that he's like God's gift to special teams. Neal's out there in the fourth quarter of preseason game 3 getting pass interference called on him.
Yeah.
If Renardo Green or Lenore go down, this team is so fun.
That's a position where if you're gonna get rid of Elliott or Garendo and it's not for like a backup tackle, go get a corner. They do have a waiver spot. They do have a waiver spot.
11th, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they'll probably keep Luter, even though I've been really unimpressed with him.
I'm with you. And you know what? Like, you couldn't even say that's a bad decision, given the alternative.
Let's say they'll keep him because he's been around. But
I mean, can Fabian Moreau
impressed.
make this team off of 1.5 practices?
I swear to God, he might. He might. And then at
I
nickel,
like
I have it as Stout and Lucas, and then they cut Robinson.
I think they keep Lucas because there's just. I mean, he might end up being one of those practice squad guys. At a certain point, your practice squad's starting to look like your regular squad.
He's just been good, and he just like plays football well.
They played him on the outside on Saturday.
You just got to keep him. He wants it more than anybody else. He's desperate. You got to keep a guy that cares that much in a preseason game. Like you got to keep him.
Throw him a pity roster spot, huh?
Might as well. He's been one of the only guys in the secondary, and you don't know what your secondary is. You got to just keep him.
You also don't know what Upton Stout is. Like we all liked it. There was just this sort of like, oh, okay, let's not look over there for a while because like that seems like it's going good. We'll come back to it. There's just like literal fires happening on this field. Like we'll worry about everything else and then we'll come back to Upton Stout. We never were able to come back to Upton Stout because he got injured. Like I don't know if Upton Stout's playing in week 1. So you better have Chase Lucas, who I have just been calling Isaiah Oliver in my head this whole time.
I know. Dieter texted me Oliver, and I was like, God damn it.
They're the same thing. By the way, for what it's worth, here's a little intel for all you. I mean, the Niners are just frantically making calls about offensive linemen, defensive ends, and cornerbacks right now. Take that for what it's worth. But you think that they were done trading after they got Sky Moore and Brian Robinson? They are trying so goddamn hard.
This was like me before my fantasy football draft, just picking up future 4th round picks.
Yeah.
For CJ Stroud.
So good. So good. You only got a future 4th for CJ Stroud.
Future 4th was good. I was offered like an 8th round pick. I got it to a future 4th.
Were you picking up some of the salary Brian Robinson style?
Yeah, I already had too many picks. I wanted a future pick. So.
There you go.
Moving on.
Safety. If Grant's back, it's pretty obvious because, and by the way, you can cut 2 of these guys too. It's Sigel, Pinnock, Grant, and Brown.
Yep. And then Mustafa comes off PUP whenever he comes off.
And you cut Brown or you IR'd somebody by then. Like,
yep, that's exactly how I have it.
I have no idea what that is. Hopefully that all adds up to 53. By the way, they are going to keep Jake Moody. We'll see how it goes in the season. To which I say, you're right. We will see how that goes.
I kind of think you should. You've made it this far. And
that's the mistake.
No. I'm less hyperbolic on it than you. Like, I do think it's going to take another team for it to work out for him in the NFL.
Yes.
I think logically that's where it goes. I think there's just the dynamic is unfortunate. with rookie kickers where once that confidence goes and you're like looking over your shoulder,
He's a nervous wreck.
it's tough. What they need to do is just say like he is our kicker, but they can't really say that. So
What are we doing? They're prolonging the inevitable. And it's fine. We know that this is going to go poorly. We just need to see him lose us another game before we
the
cut him.
season is
Like, is
is
that
a
the
joke for
logic?
the season's going to be a joke for the first 3 weeks anyway with no wide receiver. So like give it.
No. This team is so talented, they don't even need a flipping kicker. I mean, it's not as if this team, every game that they would win is going to come down to the last couple of plays, because this is a team that's totally prioritized special teams, knowing that the margins are going to be tight. It's not like any of that's happening. So let's just put out somebody that we straight up do not trust to kick. At least when you have some rando that you don't trust, you don't feel bad about it. This kid's making everyone feel bad, and for his own sake, I repeat, trade him. Get rid of him.
Do you think it's because he's like he's cute? Because he's like a,
I wouldn't know.
because you feel bad. You look at him, you're like, that looks like my nephew or something. And there's like an element to that where you're like, oh man, he's just a little guy.
He is just a little bitty guy, and I guess it would be easier too if he was like a great chatter with the media, but Robbie Goebel's a great chatter with the media, and that's a whole other thing.
He was something.
That's a whole other thing. But like, my colleague Jerry McDonald at the Merc, he was like, "Oh, I'll just go get Moody after the game." He goes up and he's like, "You want to? Can you talk about what happened at it? You want to talk about it?" He's like, "Oh no, I got a thing." He pulled an "I got a thing" move.
Yeah, that's
like,
not
I
great.
gotta go get a workout in, and then then I got a thing, and it's like, "Oh, will you be coming back?" And he's like, "Oh man, I don't know, I gotta go do this thing." And it's like, dude, just man up and say no. I understand that it is an it's a thankless job being an NFL kicker, right? But it's also a job that's just what's your responsibility? Make the kicks. You missed an extra point, and then you absolutely botched a kickoff. Kyle Shanahan's out here saying that his game against the Raiders was one of the best games he's ever seen from a kicker. Is it because it's the first game he's been paying attention to kickers? Dude missed a 53 that had no chance and almost missed a 26. But that's the best game, one of the best games I've ever seen.
That was
what the
suspect.
fuck are you talking about?
Well,
also, why are you having to hold the hand of your kicker? Why are you putting all this effort? For their own sakes now, just get rid of them. You don't want us asking about them all the time. No one asks about some random guy you got off the street if he misses a kick. We just know how this goes. But they are so pot committed and so adamant to not look like assholes for taking a kicker 99th overall. And it's too late, buddy.
I honestly, that's part of it, but I think they just believe that like if he figures it out, they're going to have a stud kicker. Like if he gets his head right and he gets back on track.
Okay.
Like he was extraordinarily productive for them, and he had the ankle injury and wasn't the same after. And I think they think if he can get back to that, then it's worth it. And we're going to give him a shot. We're going to give him, I don't know, in their heads, they probably have like a 4-week runway or something. Maybe. And then they just say, all right, we're done. And do I think that's the most logical approach? No, but like, I kind of get it.
The other thing too, is this idea that he's like, oh man, he'll be great. Like, wasn't his whole thing that he just made all of his field goals, but he didn't have the big, like he had a better leg than like a gold.
He's got a pretty good leg,
but it's not an elite leg. It really isn't. I mean, did you see Brandon Aubrey chip shot a 64-yarder the other day? Like that's the standard now. They're just kicking it from the other side of the 50. I know that Kyle would never try that, but I don't think Moody can make that. Moody's limit 60, which sounds awesome until you realize that now the limit is 70 because of the new K-balls. Like,
yeah,
I guess they don't know. By the way, people don't know. By the way, they changed the K-ball rule. So
what's the K-ball?
So the K-ball is the ball that the kickers use.
Yes.
So they don't. It's not. There's balls that as we found out certainly with Deflategate, there's balls that are in rotation. They're to the specifications within certain PSI, or I think it's actually bar for the teams, and you put out your own offensive balls. Okay, and they're all checked now. They used to not be. The K ball is like a fresh ball. and they are specified, and the league puts them together. All right. So the league says they have to be a certain thing. And they were basically like, I apologize. I probably should have brought my physical NFL ball. It's like the non-mudded, non-worked,
Ah.
like reddish, like out of the box ball. This is and so you could get the ball the day of the game and you could kind of work on it, right? Because you want the give. You want that ball foot to be able to get into the ball a little bit more, creates more of a rebound effect. This year, they're allowing kickers to get a week with the ball. So that ball
Is this like a home ec? Like you bring the egg home?
yeah,
The
exactly.
egg survives?
Except the egg is just being absolutely punished on a minute by minute basis by these kickers who, by the way, have nothing but time to soften up that football, right? What is it they do all week? They now have nothing. So they are going to get the K ball for the entire week. These balls are going to go 10, 15% longer because the kickers have the ability now to really work the ball. Instead, they were kicking a rock for the last decade plus,
Oh,
and
that's
now they're actually
interesting.
getting to kick a football. And what did we see in the preseason? Aubrey half-assed to 64. He could have made it from, and I'm not kidding here, 75. The ball hit the back wall of the end zone. The
I
back
do
wall,
think you're
those
underselling Moody's leg, but like that's not the problem. It's that he pulls everything, and the new
the new
the new stance or whatever, the torque. I think that's he might have to throw that out.
I don't know. I don't know. But the fact is that he does not have an elite of the elite. Like, he's not on an Aubrey level. He's not on a Cam Little level. He's not a Bates level kicker. And by the way, like, two of those guys were just hanging out, right? One of them was like, you could do that. Turns out he could. The other one was just, selling bricks. And it's like, oh, I'll go kick in the UFL. Um, the idea that the Niners can't, and I listed it off. I mean, there's good kicking competitions happening. The Jets have a kicking competition. They're going to cut a decent one. The Jaguars are going to
Guess
go with Little.
Badgley is still out there.
I mean, you don't like Greg Joseph? That's fine. There's like a
Zane
dozen.
Gonzalez. Yeah,
They've
there's
had him
players
at
out there.
camp. There's a dozen other kickers. Matthew Wright's going to get cut. Bring him in. He was a better kicker than Moody last year. Like, the idea that you can't. And by the way, this is
So
also
to
gives
me,
you get through this season, and then Brant Boyer can go find the guy who can knock you in one from 75. Like,
the concern is well, obviously the concern is everything, but it's like part of the consensus of like keeping him is that he's been great on kickoffs, and him like
how'd
not
that go?
he doesn't have the ability to do like there's kickers that are doing wild shit on kickoffs that are just like dropping it at the 15, and his approach is different where he's like trying to drop it at the 1, which can work too. But like the fact that he's shanked that one out of bounds and just doesn't feel like he's got a feel for it or any sort of confidence. So we'll see.
One of the best games I've ever
It's
seen.
I think they give him like a 4-week runway.
It's just it is brutal. Okay, let's go through some questions. Apologies. We usually kind of pepper without questions through the show. I said to Jake, let's not do that today. That was a fucking mistake because this is very difficult to parse all through. Here's a good question. Is Adam Peters even a good GM? I would argue no. My number one NFL bet this year is Commanders under.
I don't think he is clearly good or bad. I think he has had some huge hits and has made some questionable deals of players who are on the downslope of their career and meet the name recognition criteria to get you excited about them. So maybe he's certainly not a terrible GM, in my view.
A lot of the things that he did. I mean, first off, giving Bobby
The
Wagner
Kinlaw contract is crazy.
the Debo bet is nuts.
I don't think it's nuts. They're a little desperate.
I'll make an argument. Well, they got McLaurin today, so at least he did that. That's a smart thing. Let's keep the one good player we have on offense, other than our quarterback. I guess the argument you can make for the Debo thing is you can't run man-to-man with Jaden Daniels as the quarterback. So Debo never has to see press. Here's the funny part about that, though. Cover 8's coming. Cover 6 is coming. Teams got really good at figuring out how to play both man and zone and figuring that out. What do we have here? Ezekiel has shown that he sucks at multiple positions. it's a big deal. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's like a jack of no trades.
He's certainly a master of none, but at least he's a jack of all. Who was more rage-inducing, Moody or Hennessy? Same. Same. This is a great one. Woodpit 420, one of our favorites. I don't love Colby. I feel bad because one of my best friends' name is Colby, and
Oh,
but I agree. I don't love Colby. Um, I don't. I feel like they've just tried to gaslight us a little bit on Connor Colby. They're like, oh well, we think Burford and Pooney, they just immediately started. Everything was fine.
right.
Same thing will happen with Connor Colby. You're like, not really. Like, it's nice that you feel comfortable enough to play him. I don't think that he's a disaster, but I don't
He
think
has
he
been far
helps.
less disastrous than I expected. He has been much better than I expected. My expectations were below the floor.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be a dumpster fire, and Chris Furster didn't really correct me on that. And I think he improved throughout camp. And I think the pass protection floor gives him the ability to be and the fact that he is like an athlete gives him the ability to at least be a decent pass protector. The run game stuff is ugly, but
it's wild.
yeah,
It's wild.
such a weird player.
And honestly, the fact that he's a weird player might be something to his advantage. Like, I can't
Yeah.
tell you he's bad. He's just weird. I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening here. Like, maybe that all works out. Talk about boom or bust. Like right now, he's just hanging out in football purgatory.
Yeah, but I don't love him either, but I've been impressed with how he's played. I impressed compared to what I expected. Not to say he's been outstanding, but he's been competent.
It's a great point by Griffin. There'd be a lot less heartburn around Martin if he was 55th and not a third. I
Even if he
mean,
was 100th, but
yeah,
75 is like
75 for. And by the way, let's add into this. There'd be less heartburn if Alfred Collins kicked ass from day one. But now you have a guy who hasn't played in Michael Williams, right? Total. I mean, project's not the right word, but just green and young. He's a child. You have a total boomer bust player in Collins who is giving you both ends of the spectrum every time he plays. And then the same thing with Martin. It's like, listen, I like the idea of going for boom. That's a lot of bust potential for your first 3 picks. And nobody's higher on Michael than me, but like we have to acknowledge that like he's not practicing. He's constantly injured. That's bust potential. Collins bust potential is through the roof. And the Martin bust potential is through the roof, save for the fact that like the benefit to him now is that he's 75. If he was taken any earlier, this would be a lot louder. And again, I want to drop most of the draft pick context because it doesn't matter at a certain point.
right.
Like we don't want to hold on to those priors. Like we did not think it was a good draft pick. Fine. Let's talk about him as an NFL player. But until Tuesday, like we can still hold on to this thing a little bit. Yeah, this is Goat Lord's right. Like, listen, we're nuanced. I'll tell you this: the idea, one of my biggest catch-alls personally is like, oh no, I'm speaking nuanced. Most of the time, I'm just not making any goddamn sense, and I'm trying to cover my ass for being like,
Right.
no, you just don't get it. I'm being nuanced. No, I appreciate that external people think that we're being nuanced. I just think that it's like it's pretty clear. Here's the black and white of it. He is both black and white. There's going to be gray. And the fact is that we are not gray. We don't want him to fail. We want him
No,
to be
no,
awesome.
I would love to watch a player with his level of like raw talent hit because that would be sick to watch. I would be really excited to watch that. I'm just saying it's very easy to see that raw talent and it's harder to say that's there. Some things are working, some
Yeah.
things really aren't working. And it's hard because when things aren't clear, again, that's his issue as a player, by the way. Like it's hard for your brain to say, well, what is this? I don't know what this thing is. We don't know what
Yeah.
Nick Martin is yet because he's an unfinished stone that needs a lot of polishing.
Mm-hmm.
And there are going to be plays this year, I think, where he's going to play and it's going to be sick. And people are going to say he's the truth. And literally in the draft guide, go look at the draft guide and how I described him. I said people will overstate the positives and underrate the negatives because that's the type of player he is. And again,
Yep.
When it hits, if it hits, it's going to be outstanding. But there's a lot to clean up.
And this is Jonathan Kaminga highlight culture right here. Like, oh, did you see what he did? It's like, yes. Then I watched him when he didn't touch the ball. And did he
Right.
affect winning? No. Why was that hole the running back went through so open? Because he was supposed to fill it. He wasn't there. Again, we're not preying on anyone's downfall. We're not looking for anybody to fail at the NFL level. These are people trying to fulfill their dreams. We just need to give a realistic take here because we are pessimists by intellect and optimists by choice. Like, it takes a lot of willpower to be an optimist when you go out here and you watch this football team on a daily basis. And if you just want us to hold your hand and put a bunch of cream and sugar in your coffee, there's plenty of people that can do that for you. Like, I don't mean that pejoratively. This is ultimately nonsense. We are talking, this is not important, but we're going to treat it seriously. And we're going to actually go through and look at it because we're dorks who care about this stuff and want to. Our only goal is to see high level football consistently played. We have high standards. If you don't have high standards, that is fine. In fact, good on you. You're probably living a much easier, calmer, better life. But this ain't the place for
There's
you.
not enough nihilists out here. People are too positive on the West Coast. I grew up in New Jersey where people are like, I like the Jets and I can't wait to die. Like there's not enough of that.
I mean, I'm not. There's a lot of really positive things that we can take from training camp, like Pearsall and Purdy, unbelievable positive.
Yep.
Siegel, fantastic positive. Tatum Bethune, that's like such a little thing, right? But that's a big improvement that we didn't see coming. The Renardo Green Lenore situation is awesome. Like that has a chance. They have a chance, as you said in the last show, to have the best young secondary in the NFL in recent times. Some of these defensive line prospects could be absolutely badass. CJ West is already badass. Michael Williams has the potential. Alfred Collins has the potential. Again, like CMC looks 100% back. There's a lot of things to feel good about. The problem is there's not a lot of things that you don't have feelings about with this team.
Right.
There's not a lot of things that you can just take to the bank and say, oh, he'll put in a pro effort, right? He'll be fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about him. It is a boom or bust team. It is stars and scrubs. Either you have one of the best players in the NFL at your position, or you are just in an absolute twilight zone.
They're just not deep enough. They're just not deep enough to me. And I think, it can work out if they're healthy enough, but like this is a team where when injuries start to crop up, it's going to look really, really brutal. And maybe they'll figure it out and maybe they'll make some more additions around the edges, but they are sort of panic adding those guys and not necessarily pure panic. Like they're logical trades or logical additions. It's just late in the window when some of these things were obvious from the start, and we'll see. Exactly right.
Just because you're buying at the dollar store doesn't mean you're not panic buying. Like they were good trades. No question about it. But you only had to make those trades because you're like, we can't do anything with Guerrero and Bergen. Like, we can't do it. Bergen's off the team. We'll never speak of Junior Bergen again. I felt so bad for him in the locker room. He was like on the phone, and it's like, dude, he knows. Like, he knows. And he
did pick the ball up off the bounce, which was kind of sick.
I mean, that breaks your heart, right? Because it's like you were given this kind of out of nowhere opportunity and you just couldn't make the most of it. And that's not on him. That's on Brant Boyer. We're 0 for 1 on that front. 0 for 2 with this Moody thing.
It's tough when your only skill set is punt returning, so you have to look amazing. And he had one that was sick right off the bat, but it's like you got to be able to do a little more, I think.
Woodpit bringing up Luter made a couple of nice special teams tackles, and he did. He also had a couple of really bad special teams plays in the same game. I'm really not sure what to do with him, and I don't think they know what to do with him.
I think they just say, all right, let's keep him.
Yeah. Texans offense looking to be a train wreck again. You want to talk about Joe Mixon?
I got Nick Chubb. I drafted Nick Chubb like it's 1992. And I feel good about it? No, but he was like in the 11th round, and I'm like, he's the starting Texans running back, and Joe Mixon may never play it down. And I don't know that Dameon Pierce is going to do much because they haven't trusted him since that rookie year. So I'm riding Nick Chubb. Also, guess who else I drafted? Cooper Kupp.
Wow. You are the Dr. James Andrews All-Stars over here.
Just listen, every single pick I did last night was just pure home run swinging.
Who's Dr. Neil Attaché in Los Angeles? Is that the guy who does? Eltrash, yeah.
Alatrash.
Pick up the thicker
Interesting.
kicker. We're talking about Harrison Mevis. I mean, at this point, why not?
Mevis.
Mevis. He had a very he had a pretty good run in the UFL, and I think who was he in camp with? The Jets. I think he's going to get cut, but
The New
all
York
right.
Football Jets, as I call them.
I mean, the idea that Brandon Aubrey's a unicorn is true, but the 49ers are treating Jake Moody as if he's a unicorn, and he might have one horn, but it's crooked, and he's a donkey.
Lions released Dan Skipper. That's actually interesting.
I was under the impression that Skipper's like super banged
Cooked?
up. Yeah.
That his body is cooked.
I've never quite understood their allegiance to Skipper, if I'm being frank. I remember in the deep scout for the NFC Championship game in 23, it's like, this guy's not good. But they have to keep Penei Sewell on the right side because Penei's like, that's another fun part. Like, I've said some very nice things about Penei Sewell, and he is a very good right tackle. The fact that you can't play him at left, they just like, they can't do it.
Yep.
They can't have him protect the blind side. Like, how is that not a demerit? How do people mention this guy as the best offensive lineman in football, but they won't play him at left tackle? Can't protect the blind side, but he's the best offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Like, he's a glorified guard.
I think that's overstating it.
John Weeks. I would rather have a great guard.
Dieter, stop talking. We need to talk about John Weeks, who again keeps
enough.
making plays and is built, God, like
he's a fire hydrant,
like a Roblox.
Oh, I don't even know what that means.
Was
he in the Minecraft movie with Jack Black?
Yeah,
is he built like Jack Black?
He's built like a Minecraft character. I love him so much, and he's legitimately great. He is the best form tackler I've ever seen because he has to be.
Well, also, there's no way for him to get too high in his stance as a tackler because he is.
It's like, you know, when they say, when coaches are like, wrap up, it's like picture
every
perfect.
Time. He's I mean, at this point, I'd play him at weak side, but and
this is the other thing too, and everyone's above him.
One of the things, and we don't need to get into the larger context of Justin Tucker, who, by the way, will not be replacing Jake Moody, but he had a disastrous year last year on the field. I can only speak to that.
Yep.
And part of the reason, I think Isaac Punts had it, or maybe somebody else on YouTube, but I saw a great breakdown about how the long snapper and the holder were just screwing him. Like the snapper consistent, and Mitch was doing this last year with Moody too, I noticed, where the ball was just tilted. It was unnecessarily tilted. And the snaps were on point from Pepper, but the ball kept being tilted, and it puts a little more, it's like teeing up the ball too high on a golf swing off the tee box. So
I'm going to be doing that later this week.
Yeah, and I gave a level of deference to Moody because it's like, I don't think he's being helped by Wisnowski putting down the ball. I'll say this, I was hawk-eyed. I mean, I literally had out the monocular. I was like, let's do this thing on these Moody kicks. And Weeks and Morstead, there was one that was a smidge high, and Morstead just laid it down. I mean, he put it on a pillow, baby. This thing was perfect. Those two guys are unbelievable at what they do. Like, they might be the two best players at their position in the league, and that position is holder and long snapper. Like, those guys, I'm sure Belichick has really strong opinions about them and will bring them in to talk to UNC in the offseason. Those guys are awesome. So you can't even, it's all on Moody. It's all on Moody because those guys are just giving him every opportunity to do whatever it is he wants to do, and he's just not taking advantage.
Yeah. Anything you want to get to before we get out of here? I do have one thing.
Yes.
One, subscribe to the Hutch Report. I'm going to show you what my Excel spreadsheet looks like for this roster. It's going to look ugly.
You throwing that up here?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Let's just put me in the corner here. That's the our lads roster.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
Thanks for doing this, Jake. We're really ending the show on a high note here.
We're ending the show on a. Yep. Here we go. All
right.
Yeah.
You want to see some insane nonsense? There you go.
And a little peek at what's to come for some members. Oh, is this Nick Martin grades? Are these some Nick Martin grades?
Hey now.
Oh, is this every play, including special teams? Just a peek.
just a bit.
Oh, I didn't even switch the tab, so no one
No,
saw it.
it's okay. It's a verbal medium.
You can imagine it.
Uh, I is this accurate? Are we getting news here from there
Here
you
we
go.
go.
Jesus
That's
Christ,
the Nick Martin
Jake.
stuff. Okay.
+1.
Yep. Okay. All right. Stop sharing.
Is this accurate? The Bengals paid Hendrickson?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Well, we live another day. Legitimately, thank goodness they paid him. Because I was sick of people being like, you should trade Garendo in a second round pick for Trey Hendrickson. And it's like, I think somebody had a comment on the page. It's like, you should go trade for Trey Hendrickson. And it's like, let me know when you're done with your trip. Like, that is some good LSD, my friend.
I hope you're not thinking about Trey Hendrickson if you're tripping. Because that's really sad.
Well, if you are, I know a channel for you.
Yeah. Also, a few things. One.
Oh, we're doing more things. Got it.
Well, as I mentioned, go subscribe to the Hutch Report. I'm going to post my roster sheet, my 53-man roster, free. For members of the channel, we are going to put out, we're going to do a Nick Martin video of the preseason, breaking down sort of what we saw. I will show you my spreadsheet. That sounded sexual. I apologize.
You're going to
get to see the Nick Martin grades spreadsheet. I will provide a link. And then we haven't talked about it because we weren't sure if we were going to be able to pull it off, but I feel pretty confident we're going to pull it off.
Yep.
The preseason guide. You haven't heard anything because we wanted to make sure we could do it.
That's right.
We're going to do it. We're going to do it. The goal, we don't have a set date yet, but ideally the week leading up to the first game of the season, it will be out.
You'll have it for the Seahawks. You'll have it. It'll be in your collective inboxes. Is that how we're going to do that? Yeah.
I don't know. Well, don't worry about it. We'll figure out the logistics, but you will have it for members only.
And to be fair, so we did a stream last week where we were just absolutely inundated with bots. Of which some of you might be. So here's the new rules. It's subscribers only to comment. Okay, that's great. And on Sunday nights, we're doing members only. So if you want to get something off your chest, that's great. We're all for it. We're all going to be yelling at something or drinking champagne on the stream. Who's to say after Sunday's game against the Seahawks? Anything can go. But if you want to get in and you want to have your voice be heard, because like we're going to pout anything that goes up, because if you're a member and it goes up, we consider that a super chat. We're just popping that thing in there.
Right.
So we're going to go through all of it. So members only on the post-game streams. So that's all the more reason to get in. And that's all members. You don't have to be the highest tier. That's just the lowest tier. You get in, you can comment. It's going to be fantastic.
Will there be jackets?
There should be. Legitimately, at this point, we should get some merch going. Paul, thanks for jumping in super late. We did a whole 10 minutes on it. You're awesome, man. You're the best.
Appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
Amari Cooper is returning to the Raiders on a 1-year deal, and Trey Hendrickson has signed a deal. It's almost as if business is
all happening.
Done. Let's see if the Niners make some more trades. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.